The United States has just unleashed its heaviest firepower of the entire war. In a devastating new wave of attacks, American B-2 stealth bombers are now dropping 30,000-pound bunker busters directly onto Iran's most top-secret nuclear and missile factories. The destruction is so catastrophic that Tehran is now secretly begging Vladimir Putin to help them negotiate a ceasefire, a surrender. Let me show you what I mean. Let's start with a statement from Admiral Brad Cooper, the person who's heading the US Central Command. And in this statement, he confirms the strikes on Iranian missile production facilities. Take a listen.
Since the first 24 hours of this campaign, Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks have dropped drastically. But it's worth pointing out that Iranian forces continue to deliberately target innocent civilians in Gulf countries while hiding behind their own people as they launch attacks from highly populated cities in Iran. Of course, forces executing Operation Epic Fury aren't just defending against Iranian threats, we are methodically dismantling them by hitting Iranian missiles and drones, as we also strike their defense industrial base. Just last night, our bomber force hit a large ballistic missile manufacturing facility, as an example.
And we actually have satellite imagery to look at some of these sites. First, we have a before and after of Iran's Telangana nuclear site in Perchin. This same area houses many different Iranian military and missile production facilities too that we'll look over in just a second. But in these images, you can clearly see US GBU-57 bunker busters taking care of business on Iran's newish nuclear site. Now, these are the same bunker busters, the same 30,000-pound bombs that US used during Operation Midnight Hammer. Back then, they were used to destroy Iranian nuclear sites, and now they're being used again to destroy newer Iranian nuclear sites. But as I said, it's not just nuclear sites that US is going after. Here's a satellite imagery of before and after of Iran's military complex in the same area, in Parchin. And here we can see the strikes have destroyed multiple buildings, or at the very least damaged them heavily. The accuracy of these strikes is truly frightening. There's no munition being wasted on, structures that don't matter. It's going straight to the buildings that matter, nothing being wasted on the road or around the building. Well, and just to hit this point home, let me show you something that was truly disrespectful to Iran. Watch this footage carefully. This is a clip of US destroying an Iranian Su-22 tactical bomber. Did you catch that? The strike actually went through the opening in the hardened structure, even though the full bomber, the tactical bomber, was not visible. The reason this is disrespectful is because the military had the option to go through the roof, like every other military does. But it seems this was more about just showing off the precision US military and US jets have. Now, on top of this, the goal isn't just to destroy the missile stockpiles that Iran has right now, and then, of course, the Air Force it has. The goal is to also destroy their future, meaning destroy the factories that are building the drones and building Iranian missiles. Here's Secretary Hexet confirming this point in a press conference, I think 2 days ago. Take a listen.
That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. For example, as of 2 days ago, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity. Every company that builds every component of those missiles has been functionally defeated, destroyed. Buildings, complexes, and factory lines all across Iran destroyed. So we're shooting down and destroying what missiles they still have in stock, but more importantly, ensuring that they have no ability to make more.
Now, amid all this, we have Iranian president put out his demands for a ceasefire. This is the same guy who doesn't even have real power in his own country. In fact, I'm sure you guys remember, just recently he apologized for Iranian actions against, the Gulf countries. And then hours after that apology, Iranian military came out and said that president doesn't know what he's talking about. Iran is not apologetic to anyone. And guess what? The president had to walk back his comments. And now the same president is saying that he just talked to Putin and Pakistan's president and said that Iran will only end this war if Iran's legitimate rights are recognized, they receive reparations for the war, and they get guarantees against any future aggression. Now, this sounds delusional given that they don't even have control over their own skies. But here's the interesting thing. Even though Iran is publicly saying that they're not going to negotiate until their demands are met, it seems privately they're actually offering somewhat of a surrender. Take a look. This was confirmed by Russia, and remember, Iranian president himself confirmed that he talked with Putin very recently in his statement. Well, I'm guessing somewhere around that call, Putin also called President Trump, and Russia brought up ceasefire prospects in that call. According to Russia, Iran is willing to transfer their 400 kilograms of enriched uranium to Russian custody. And this will not be something that's brand new. In fact, in 2015, Russia did something similar where they took in Iranian enriched uranium when Iran signed a nuclear deal. But nonetheless, if Iran is willing to give up their enriched uranium, it will be a huge step, because we know from public comments before the war that Iran actually refused to give up this uranium during negotiations. And now, after they saw how their military is actually performing in a war, I'm guessing they are willing to hand it over. But despite all this, US did reject this offer, and I'm guessing that's because Iran is not willing to negotiate on their enrichment capabilities. They are willing to give up uranium, but they still want to keep the facilities that can help them make more in the future. This is pretty much the same problem we had before the war. Iran doesn't want to give up the ability to build a bomb, even if they promise that they don't want to build a bomb. And here's why that's unacceptable. You see, Iran has already shown that they're willing to enrich uranium past the point of, nuclear reactors, nuclear energy. That's exactly how they have 60% enriched uranium. You don't need that for nuclear energy. You only need that if you're planning on building a bomb in the future. And since they have already proven that they're willing to break the rules, it's a lot harder to trust them with enrichment capability, considering that all you have to do is spin the centrifuges more to get uranium that you can use to build a nuclear bomb. Now, while these negotiations play out, it seems there's an international coalition forming to protect the Strait of Hermuz. Here's what President Trump said. Many countries affected by Iran's attempted closure of Hermuz Strait will be sending warships in conjunction with the United States to keep the strait open and safe. We have already destroyed 100% of Iran's military capabilities, but it's easy for them to send a drone or two, drop a mine, or deliver a close-range missile somewhere along or in the waterway, no matter how badly they've been defeated. And then President Trump goes on to ask China, France, Japan, South Korea, the UK, and others to send in their warships to protect the strait. Now, it's important to point out that Trump did not share the countries that are sending warships, but based on the list he did share, it seems like a lot of countries are not sending. Now, to me, the most interesting one is definitely France, because based on the statements that are coming out from French ministers recently, so people who are part of the administration, I assume that they would be part of a coalition that's forming to protect the strait, because they were saying that they're happy to help. But it seems they haven't made a decision yet. Now, similar position the UK is in, which has publicly said after President Trump's comment that they're deciding what to do. They're deciding how they can help in this international coalition. Now, all the while this is happening, US strikes against Iranian military facilities also have continued inside of Iran. On your screen, you see a Revolutionary Guards headquarters. So IRGC's headquarters in Rabat Karim area near Tehran being completely destroyed. Clearly, this was a powerful strike. And on top of that, President Trump recently made public comments about US specifically going after people who were involved in massacring the protesters back in January. Just take a listen. This comment came out yesterday.
And we're trying to be nice about it. We're not doing it. Now, they'll go around and shoot civilians all over the place, but we don't do that. But we could take out elements of what they have in terms of infrastructure. They would virtually never be able, time wouldn't matter, never be able to reproduce it. And so far, we've chosen not to do that. But we have hit them so hard. I mean, they have virtually no military left. They do have the thugs walking across it, and when they're caught, they will be tried and executed when those thugs are caught. And we have them on tape, who they are, and they better turn in their guns. But, we have tapes of some of these people that go around shooting the protesters, maybe all of them, when we add it all up, and they're going to have a big problem after this is all
Have
over.
they been targeted yet?
I don't want to say that, but we have a lot of tape, and we have a lot of people. We know exactly what they look like, and they're going out and they're shooting protesters for just literally standing, not for doing anything, for standing on the street. They're killing people. And prior to this starting, they killed 32,000 people.